Good morning guys and welcome to our Christmas reading vlog. I was going to say this is a beautiful winter morning, but I'm looking out of the window and it's just cold and dark and gray. But we are going to make the best out of this week reading Christmas horror. I have selected multiple novellas, but also one that is a bit longer, so almost like novel length. So I'm going to be reading them all in this vlog and letting you know my thoughts on them. I particularly think that Christmas horror can be so much fun, and there is something fun about seeing typical things like snowmen or Santa turned into bloody murder. Let's take a look now at all of the things that I plan to read during this reading vlog. We have I Found Christmas Lights Slithering Up My Street by Ben Farthing. After last year's tragedy, Douglas' parents are ignoring Christmas. But of course Douglas finds some lights and some Christmas decoration and he decides to put it up. And obviously things are not gonna go very well. There must be a reason why the parents don't want to put up any decorations or celebrate Christmas this year. The next candidate is Abominable Snowman by Brian G. Berry, and this is the one that is a little bit longer. This Christmas holiday, there is a new snowman in town, and the magic behind him is anything but jovial, anything but happy. So obviously this book is about a killer snowman and I'm here for it. We have Santa Muerte Claus by R.J. Benetti. The Winterbottoms have all the money in the world, but that is not going to save them when a Santa comes to their house and is trying to kill them. So I kind of like this story. It's almost a little bit like Violent Night. If you have seen the movie, I think that is a great Christmas movie. I actually was considering rewatching it this year because I think it was so much fun. So let's see if this novel is anything like that. The next one is just a short horror story and it's called Santa Exploitation, and it is by Judith Sonne. Santa wakes up on Christmas morning and he finds out he's been drugged, tied to a chair, and is in danger. So the flip side of this one is that Santa is actually in the poop position. He's actually the one being kept captive. So why and who and will he be able to make it out alive? The last one on our list is Red Christmas by Alice B. Sullivan. To honor his late mother, Preston continues the tradition of decorating the Christmas tree. It is a simple task, but when he's on his way to get the decoration, something is going to happen to him. So we shall see what happens to him. Is it something with the decoration? Is it something like a curse to the family? We'll have to see. So these are all the things that I'm planning to read during this reading vlog. There is a short story, some novellas, and one that is a little bit longer, so almost like novel length. That's the one with the snowman. So I'm really excited because not every year I get to read a lot of Christmas horror, but this year I was determined to make it happen. So in the next couple of days, let's see how long it takes me, I will get through all of these books. My plan is to read them in maximum 1 week, so that I can have these properly edited and uploaded for Christmas. So you have a nice, fun reading vlog, hopefully, for you guys to watch during Christmas. Future me is gonna get back to you very soon once she's ready to read the first book. Thank you to Past Me for introducing this reading vlog, and today we are here to start our TBR of Christmas horror. Morbius is also excited about all the blood, the kills, the gore, and all the Santa Clauses. We have a total of 5 titles to read during this vlog, but Three of them are fairly short, so I think that we should be able to get it done in under a week. And today I'm hoping to read one or two of the shorter ones because it is a weekday. I still have some work to do, but I thought it also might be nice to get introduced to the Christmas horror just reading something short to begin with. And for some reason, the story Red Christmas is the one that has been calling me. I really like the name Red Christmas. It's like simple, but it has a lot of message behind it. And also, it says here that it's a psychological Christmas themed zombie story. So how is that gonna go? I think that's the one that we should start with today. And now that I have Morbius with me, it's going to be even cozier. He is in need for cuddles because mommy has been working for some hours today and he just needs some attention. So in this story, we follow a woman that is decorating the Christmas tree. It's about to be Christmas, so they're putting up all the decorations and they're together as a family, but our main character's mother died a year ago. And the mother died during what they call the outbreak, which is basically when this virus was released into the air and started to turn people into zombies. And now it's a year later, so a lot of the places that you would normally just go to, like supermarkets and stores and the mall, are dangerous places to go to. It's kind of like, it felt a little bit like an episode, like a Christmas special episode of The Walking Dead. And while the family is decorating the Christmas tree, they realize that they're missing one piece. They do not have the star that goes on top of the Christmas tree. So our main character decides to go and get it because it is very important to them to finish the Christmas tree, kind of like to honor their mom because the mom loved Christmas. So this story has a little bit of heart in it, and I think it's very brave that they're like, you know what? There's zombies outside, we're gonna have to go outside. Well, our main character is the one that goes, and she decides to go to the mall because there is a lot of different stores in the mall and she feels like she probably will be able to find what she's looking for there, but she knows that she has limited time and she needs to be quick and she needs to get it and get out because everything is infested with zombies. So if you love Christmas and you love zombies, this might be a story for you. Also in the book, they don't call the zombies zombies, they call them carolers, and I think it's so much fun. But there is a lot of heart in this book because as our main character is fighting all these zombies or carolers inside of the mall while trying to find a decent, a proper tree topper, something that can be used to, you know, pay homage to the mom. And as our main character is fighting zombies or carolers through the mall, and every time there's more and more, you know, kind of like The Walking Dead, the more they scream, the more they call the other ones in a way. And as we are fighting these zombies, we are getting some flashbacks of memories of childhood and stuff like that. And also we learn that it is so important to get these tree topper because they were not even able to put it last year before the outbreak happened. So it's kind of something that has been bugging our main character. And now she's determined to find this tree topper and put it on the tree to honor the mom. So it has a lot of heart, but there's also a lot of action-packed moments trying to find this tree topper. In the end, I really enjoyed this story, so I think I'm gonna give it either a 3 or a 3.5. I think the story was very interesting. For being a short horror story, it was like a full rounded story. We had a compelling beginning, we had an interesting mission, and in the middle it was action packed, and we had a really good resolution, a good ending. And it's not always easy to make, especially when you have a short story. Also, I felt connected with the main character because we learned a lot about what happened and how did we got here, and I really enjoyed this one. Actually, I think the writing style was also very good. It was easy to read, quick, fast paced, and it had a lot of heart as well, and it kind of gets you thinking about survivor's guilt when there is a virus, and the things that you didn't do, you didn't say, and the things you would be willing to do, in this case to get an ornament for your tree. But it's not just the ornament, it's the meaning behind it. So I think this is a great story if you're looking for something short to read during Christmas. And I have seen the author has other books, and one of them is called Return, and it's also about zombies. So I think I might grab that one at one point because I do like the author's writing style, and I think if the author can do such a good short horror story, I wonder what they can do with a longer story. So I will be interested to see. And now I have finished my coffee for the day. Normally I drink coffee from the moment that I wake up until the afternoon, and now I think I'm gonna go check what the cats are doing and also make myself a hot tea. Before I dive into our next Christmas horror story, I would like to talk about my new obsession, and that is Labubu. If you don't know what it is, just Google it, and I just got my first one today, and it's the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's this thing here. Look at it. Look at it. I mean, it came with this little card in the package as well, and I'm obsessed. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face. And I even got myself a phone case from Labubu as well. So I guess I have reached my next obsession. So from now on, I'm gonna be a little bit obsessed with Labubu. Also, I apologize if you guys start buying Labubu stuff now, because I understand how quickly you can get addicted to these things. Okay, let's talk next story. I think because I don't have so much time left, but I still want to read something else. I think I'm going to choose Exploitation by Judith Sonnet, because this one is a Christmas short story. So I think this one is going to be another quick read. So I think we're gonna do that one today. So let's dive into it. I think this is the one where Santa wakes up and he realizes that he has been kidnapped and is tied and doesn't know what to do, where he is. You can see the cover here, santalooksconfused.com. You can see that he's not sure of what's going on right now. And the first story that I read, Red Christmas, honestly, it was not very bloody or gory. And this one, it says rated X for obscene violence. So I think this is going to be more in the Terrifier, you know, section of horror. So this one might be exactly what I need right now. I think like I need a little bit of gore and a little bit of, you know, intense horror. So let's get to that. Not me being all excited because this is going to be super violent. I swear I'm a very balanced person on the inside. Okay, this story has a trigger warning that actually serves as a selling pitch for me. It says, Santa exploitation is a nasty, disgusting, politically incorrect and offensive story. This is not intended for sensitive readers or those looking for a sweet and sentimental Christmas story. There are many scenes of sexual violence. Read with caution and have a happy holiday. So, big promises. Now I am anticipating a really good story. A nasty Christmas story. Fair, fair. So I will report back and let you guys know if this is for any reader or if it is indeed only for those that enjoy the level of gore that Richard Lehman or Terrifier brings to the table. I would say I'm gonna sacrifice for you guys and read these so that you know how it is, but it's not really a sacrifice for me if I enjoy it now, is it? Guys, I'm slightly traumatized about that read. I have finished it. I think I'm probably gonna give it 2.5 or 3, and only because I felt like the story was a little bit weak. But this story, it's very depraved. It's not a happy story. It is on the Terrifier level of things. I would compare it more to Terrifier than Richard Lehman, and it does have some sexual stuff apart from gore that is very explicit and very, very messed up. So just putting it out there. This was traumatizing. I think I will never ever be able to think about Santa the same way ever again. So the story is basically 3 women that decide to kidnap Santa. It is Christmas Eve and they know that Santa is coming, so they decide to put out cookies that have some drugs in it in hopes that Santa is gonna eat a cookie and then the drugs are gonna hit him, and that's exactly what happens. So Santa wakes up tied to a chair in a stranger's living room, not knowing what the hell is going on, and he keeps asking these women what do they want with him, why is he tied up, and to let him go because he has a lot of presents to deliver still to the kids and everybody that is in the good list. So the women tell him that he's not going anywhere because they have a plan with him. They are cooking Christmas food and they also have a specific purpose for Santa, which I'm not gonna explain because, you know, it's a short story. So if anybody wants to read it, even though it's quite disturbing, and I would not recommend it for any type of reader, definitely not. It's for people that have a strong stomach and for people that don't mind things that are very, very disgusting. Yeah, disgusting is the word. This book was disgusting. So there's that. That's all I can tell you from the story because obviously after that a lot of things happen, but it is so short that I would be spoiling it for you guys. And also I don't feel comfortable explaining everything that happened in that book because I was reading and I was like, oh Jesus Christ. It was a lot. It was very, very intense. So yeah, that was probably the most messed up Christmas story I will ever read. And with that, I'm gonna call it a day today. I'm gonna go back to work a little bit and probably tonight we might watch Krampus because I haven't seen it in a minute and we are currently trying to watch a Christmas movie a day. And since I am now in the mood of Christmas horror, that would be a perfect candidate for tonight. So I think I'm gonna grab that from my shelves because I do own a copy, and that's the one that we're gonna watch tonight. As for you guys, I will see you tomorrow with more Christmas horror stories. Good morning, guys, and welcome to day number 2 in my Christmas horror reading vlog. And today, first of all, I would like to update you on my current obsession when it comes to Labubu. And I just got in the mail the one that I really wanted, and that is this one. This is the special Halloween edition. Look at it. I mean, look at it. Oh, it is so cute. Let me see if I can get you a cute close-up, because look at that face. So I decided I wanted this one, and that's gonna be it for now, because I don't want to start like another frenzy collection of things because we all know girl has problems. So I really wanted to have this one, and I'll see what I put him today. What are we gonna do in this reading vlog? So I am a little bit in a rush today because I do have to get all the Christmas postcards and little presents that I send every year done as quickly as possible. So my plan today is I'm gonna go now shopping. I'm gonna hit a couple of stores that I know have the type of things that I like to buy, like little presents for friends. Then I'm gonna write all the postcards, and I'm gonna try my best to have everything shipped in 1 or 2 days time, because otherwise nothing is gonna be on time for Christmas. I feel like every year I do send the postcards to everybody, but sometimes they come a little bit delayed, so my apologies. So we're gonna go to the shops. I'm going to organize this book room a little bit because all the books from the book haul that I did last are still lying around here and it's bothering me, and we're gonna get to read our Christmas horror book. So it's gonna be a busy day, but I think we can do it. Good morning, guys. It is the next day, and do you remember what I said the other day about Santa exploitation? That it was horrifying, I was traumatized. Well, the last book that I read was worse. So yesterday I managed to read Santa Muerte, and I thought, you know, this one's gonna be quick. It's only 60 pages, and it was quick, but this book was really problematic for me, and maybe it's just my opinion, maybe it's just it didn't work for me. Now this is splatterpunk, which is also something that doesn't always work for me, because obviously splatterpunk has a very specific type of humor and gore that is very descriptive, and sometimes it goes places where I kind of rather not go. The story is basically a very rich family, and when they were doing the Christmas shopping, one of the members of the family was asked by a Santa on the street for a little bit of cash, a little bit of money for Christmas, and she refused, and she was angry because he was speaking Spanish to her. She was very mean to him. She was like, you need to speak English, you're in America, and blah blah blah. And you can already tell that she's racist, and these family is racist and they don't like foreigners, and that already was like, do we have to go there, you know? Maybe it's just enough that she's really mean to this Santa. We don't have to go through all of the mention of the wall and the Mexicans. And I think that was a little bit much for me, because it's also a short novella, so you don't have time to go deeper into all of these. I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. They also mentioned Hitler. They also mentioned that the tension was as if a room was filled with needles with AIDS or something like that. And I thought that was very poor taste, because, you know, there are people that are struggling with AIDS, and I don't know, I don't think we should use illnesses as insults or even to describe the tension in a room. They mutilated way too many private parts, and I did not need, let me tell you, I did not need to have those images in my brain. There was also a comment about how you can tell that someone has Down syndrome, how you can tell when someone is missing a chromosome, and I thought that was such poor taste. So honestly, I would not recommend this book to anybody, but that is maybe just my personal taste. It just had, in 60 pages more or less, way too many problematic things that I didn't need. I just wanted a fun slasher with the Christmas spirit. I just wanted a Santa to come into a family house and just butcher them all, and instead I got a book with just more problems than pages. So even though it is a book where, yeah, Santa comes and he starts killing people in this family, I could not enjoy that part because I was being annoyed all the time by the comments and the things that for me were really poor taste. And I love Terrifier, okay? I love gore, I love messed up things, disturbing things, I love things that push boundaries. But I think when you start to get disrespectful and when you start mentioning all of these, you know, illnesses and other things, I was like, I can't. So I cannot recommend this book because of all of that. So I was excited at the beginning because I saw this novella had a part 2, which obviously I'm not gonna get. So I'm gonna delete this book from my Kindle and pretend this never happened. I also started I Found Christmas Lights Slithering Up My Street, and I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying this one. After the last 2 very, very much traumatizing books, this one is just so nice to read. Which I might enjoy this one more now after the 2 really traumatic experiences. We followed Douglas, and his parents refused to celebrate Christmas because last year during Christmas his sister Erica died, and so the parents are still grieving and they don't want to celebrate Christmas because it's all a reminder of what happened to their daughter. But Douglas really wants to celebrate Christmas. He has been looking forward to Christmas because his life changed after his sister died, and he feels like the parents have forgotten that they still have another kid, and he really wants to celebrate Christmas. So his plan is to steal some of the decorations from the neighbors and some lights and just decorate some of the abandoned houses on the street, the ones where nobody's living inside at the moment. And he finds in a very weird spot some very specific Christmas lights, and he thinks, you know, it's his lucky day, and he uses these lights to start decorating one of the abandoned houses with some friends from the neighborhood. But after he puts up these lights, even before he turns them on, weird things start to happen. Apparently when he took out these lights, something else was released. Something evil that is coming for the neighborhood people. It talks about recovering from grief and also about losing your identity and how people start to look at you different in your neighborhood after they know you have been through something as traumatic as losing a sibling. And I'm really enjoying it. It's very action-packed almost from the very beginning. It has kind of like a fantasy / supernatural aspect to it as well. So it is a very welcome change of tone from the last 2 books that I have read. I'm almost halfway through this one, so I'm hoping to have some time today to sit down and finish it. But also today I have to go and ship all the Christmas postcards and all the Christmas packages with presents for my friends and family, and I want to have that out of the way because I always feel like I have all the time in the world to get this done, and then I'm like, shit, next week is Christmas, I need to hurry the fuck up. So that's what we're doing today. We're working, we're shipping everything, and we are trying to catch up with our reading as well.
That every day of the year could have the love that we feel on Christmas Day.
Good morning, guys. It is the next day and I have good news, which is I finished the book and I actually really enjoyed this one. It kind of felt like a YA or even a middle grade book because there was not a lot of like blood and gore and stuff like that. There were not even like curse words. And I was like, this is such a different book compared to the other two that I have just read. Like the contrast is crazy. So if you're looking for a Christmas themed horror book that is a little bit supernatural and that is not too long, because this is a novella, so it is under 200 pages, I think this is a great choice for all of you guys that don't want a lot of gore and blood in your books. I really enjoy the characters. You know, they were basically kids trying to save the neighborhood from an evil that they had released themselves, and that's why it felt very much middle grade. And I think it's gonna be great for, like I said, people that don't want their books to be too intense but still want to enjoy some horror Christmas story. I think I'm gonna check other books by the author because they sound like a lot of fun. This one was a little bit kooky because, you know, the fantastical supernatural aspects were a little bit more, you know, you have to be in disbelief obviously for this one. It's not like a typical slasher where a real human is attacking others like the last couple of ones that I've had. So this one was a great palette cleanser for me, especially since the last one that we have is actually another slasher but with snowmen. So now we have Killer Snowman. That's the last book that I have to read. It's a little bit long, so I'm hoping to have time today to read most of it because I would like to get this vlog up for Christmas. So I'm gonna try my best to read this book in 1 day or 2 days. I think it's around 200 pages, so depending on how much free time I have today, I should be able to do it. But now I have to take care of a couple of errands. I have to go pick up my medicine from the pharmacy. I'm still with medicine and vitamins and things, still post-surgery, but everything is good. I've checked with the clinic in Spain. Everything is going according to plan. I'm good. I am almost fully recovered, so perfect to start the year new. So I have to pick up my medicine from the pharmacy. It's just a refill. And then I have to go get myself these Dutch typical thing that people eat here for Christmas, which the literal translation for this is just like balls of oil or oil balls, because it is what it is. It's just a ball of dough that is basically deep fried. So it's not very healthy. That's why every year I allow myself to have it one time. So one day I allow myself to buy a bag of them and I share them with my partner, but only once a year because they are not the healthiest. It's just basically a lot of oil and dough. They're tasty, but they're not very healthy. And they only have them I think they start in November and they only have them until the 25th, I think, or 24th of December, so I don't want to be too late this year. So I'm gonna try to go and get a bag of those for today. And I also want to go to the supermarket because we need fresh bread for tonight, because I'm planning on doing some toast and then on top some beans and tomato and mushrooms. Like sometimes we take an easy dinner, which is basically bean on toast, but kind of like my own spin on it. And it's just easy and tasty. I always add a little bit of tofu so we have even more protein, even though the beans have already a lot of protein. But yeah, that's kind of like the plan for today. So I'm gonna do that, then come back home and try to get started with our killing snowman. My hair is a mess, excuse me, but every time it's winter and I put on these hats because it's really cold outside and I hate when my ears are cold, my fringe just dies. But anyway, I got some oilebon and this one has apple. It's quite big and chunky, so I'm only gonna have 2 of these today and that's gonna be my oilebon of the year. After these 2, I'm not gonna have any more, but I got the chunky ones filled with apple because I do like apple more than raisins. That crunch. It's so good. It's really good. It's just basically dough, fried dough, but it's so good. If you ever come to the Netherlands during November, December, look out for these. It's time to read about Killer Snowman, and I'm just hoping that this is not going to be a disaster because this one is around 200 pages long and I kind of want to end this vlog on a positive note. So I'm hoping it was a good decision to leave this one for the end. I mean, it cannot be as bad as the Netflix movie called Hot Frosty. That movie is the trashiest of the trashiest of the trashiest Christmas movies I have ever seen. And trust me, I have seen almost every Christmas romantic movie that I have been able to find because during December every year I indulge in those types of movies and it's just for fun. So we're just going to sit down now with our coffee and start reading. Abominable Snowman by Brian G. Berry. You better watch out. Because if this one is not good and I end up this vlog in a bad note, I don't know, because I don't have any other story lined up in case that this is a failure. So we're just gonna have to have faith, okay? We're gonna have to have faith in this book. And even though it might be a little bit of splatterpunk, I'm hoping it's not gonna be too bad. We have a Merry Christmas picture inspired by the book. There you go. Explicit content. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to read this one. I'm gonna try my best to fly through it because, like I said, I really want to have this vlog up for Christmas so you guys can enjoy it during the week of Christmas, and hopefully I will bring you some Christmas spirit with all of these Christmas horror reading. I see chapter 1 is set on 1987. I wonder if that's just the first chapter or if it's gonna go back and forth in time. I will report back on that. So without further ado, at least I have my coffee. Let's get into the book. good news is that even though I was scared to start this book, it's actually going very well. I'm already on chapter 9 and I have less than 2 hours to go, so I also think I should be able to finish it today as I had planned, unless something comes in between. But I'm really enjoying this one. So it does start in the 80s, and so far I think we're still in the 80s because there has not been any other mention to any year or anything like that. We are in a very small town and there has been like a spree of grisly murders. Bodies have appeared mutilated, their chests were burst open and their hearts were stolen. And so the police, well, the sheriff and everybody in town is trying to figure out who's responsible for this. And this might be a mild spoiler, but it's not exactly a murder that's going on a killing spree. But we have two people, it is a couple, a guy and a girl, that are the ones collecting the hearts. I'm still 24% into the book, so it's something that happens relatively early, and I think it is to set the story. So basically this couple is collecting the hearts, and they do this because they need the hearts for a ritual. And the ritual is to present basically the hearts to very peculiar snowmen. So the sheriff follows this couple and realizes they are the ones that are taking the hearts and they decide to get them, to shoot them, because they think they are the killers. And in a way they are, but I guess they are trying to avoid a bigger massacre by offering the hearts and performing this ritual for the snowman. So now basically the sheriff and his man have stopped the couple from performing the ritual with the hearts that they had collected. And I'm guessing now the snowmen have free range because now there is no kind of offering to them. There is nothing to keep them at bay. And so it is kind of the typical folk horror in which a small town has a creature or some sort of god that lives in the woods next to the small town, and the town needs to give them an offering, a sacrifice, to keep them far away from them. It's something that we see a lot in this type of books, and I love that they have done this with Snowman and kind of like in a small town but a Christmas setting. And they are starting to figure out that the snowmen look weird, that there's something wrong with them. And of course now the snowmen have, like I said, free range to kill everybody because the ritual was not performed. They did not receive the hearts that they had to receive, and so I guess now they're gonna go and claim the hearts for themselves. So I'm expecting now for the real, you know, slashing spree to begin, even though people have already died left and right. I really enjoyed the book. I think the writing is great, the pacing is great. I'm really enjoying it. I think you get that kind of small town atmosphere in the winter, isolation, and that kind of small town mentality, you know, instead of interrogating people, you shoot and ask later, which doesn't always help. I'm really excited, but I do hope as well that the author give us a little bit more information about the snowman and why there is this ritual. Why are the snowmen coming for people in this town? Is it something the town did? Or is it something that happens everywhere? Just there are evil snowmen in the world? Like, what is the lore behind it? That's what I would like to know. I'm not sure if we're gonna get an explanation on that because sometimes these books are just meant to be fun and they don't overly explain or really explain into detail every little question that the reader might have. These are just for funsies, but honestly, I'm having a really good time with this one. So at least I'm thinking that we're gonna end up this vlog on a positive note. You know what? I'm now like 50%, exactly 50% through the book, and honestly, there is even a little bit of heart in the story, even though it is brutal and there is massacre going on everywhere in this town. But it also has a little bit of dark humor, and I'm really appreciating all of those little things. And I love that we are following the story through different town people. So you follow the sheriff, you follow this person, that person, their family. And some of the people in town have been reporting these snowmen to the sheriff's office, and they don't believe them. They think that they are imagining things, seeing things, hearing things, that they got confused with snowstorms, you know, like you don't know what you see exactly and stuff like that. So we have the trope of people not believing and all of that. But I'm really enjoying this book, and I am excited to finish it. From the book cover, which is amazing, to the story and how twisted it is as a Christmas story, and taking something that is supposed to be innocent and fun as building snowmen with your family, with your friends, with your kids, and it's being turned into snowmen basically butchering and killing complete families in a small town, and people don't even have time to even run for cover, because who would expect the snowman the snowman to come and just kill you? Like, it's just silly. I feel like this would be such an amazing movie. I think the people that have done Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey would have a blast doing this, and I think they would do a really good job at adapting something like this. And this book has really good reviews on Goodreads, so I had a little bit of faith in that. But then again, the Santa Muerte also has really good reviews and I hated it. So I didn't know what to expect. But I'm actually having a lot of fun with these, so I'm gonna finish it and I will let you know my final thoughts on the book, because I don't want to spoil too much more of what's going on with the plot. I want you to be able to enjoy this book if you want to pick it up for Christmas. I would say this one is a little bit high on the gore and the blood and the creepiness, more than the last one that I read about the Christmas lights. But if you like blood and gore, I think this is a great Christmas story. Guys, I finished the book, and now that I have finished the book, I have to tell you, I think this book is underrated, because I have never heard anybody talking about this book. I was on a mission this year to do a reading blog, just reading horror Christmas stories, and that's how, doing my research for that, I came across this book. And I decided to pick it up for this vlog. I was a little bit unsure if I should pick it up or not, because it is not exactly a novella. It is 200 pages, so it's basically a novel. And I didn't know if it would work time-wise for me, but I'm really glad that I included it, and hopefully with this vlog and with my monthly wrap-up, more people will come across this book and they will decide to read it. Maybe now, maybe during January, because it still kind of, you know, fits the Christmas vibe, or maybe you will just pick it up for next Christmas. I think, you know, when you read a book like this, you kind of expect the characters to be very much cookie cutter characters and just be there as pawns, to be just killed and butchered and destroyed. And this story has a lot of heart in it, in the sense that you get to know the characters, and in the end, it is a small town where everybody knows everybody, and they are trying to support each other and they are trying to help each other in the midst of all of these massacre. Obviously, at some point, they realize that, duh, actually these snowmen are alive and they are the ones killing people, and that's when they have to come up with a solution. You know, when you disturb the balance, when you don't give the snowmen the hearts that they ask for, the body parts they ask for, this is what you get. So in the end, you have the survivors of this town that have had to accept that the snowmen are actually moving and are actually the ones killing people. And once they have, you know, realized that and internalized that, because it's not easy information, you know, I also find not really believable when in books somebody sees something supernatural and immediately is like, sure, of course it is. Like, wouldn't you be like trying to find a more logical explanation? Of course you would. Of course you would. Like, sometimes we see something also kind of like in our peripheral vision, and then we're like, I'm just seeing things, it's not real. And, you know, you just try to find for a logical solution on why you thought you saw something. And in horror, a lot of times the characters lack that aspect of questioning things and challenging things and trying to find a logical explanation for things. And sometimes that can be a little bit unbelievable. So I like that the people in this town are actually looking for another solution. They don't believe it until they see it, until it happens to them. Of course, by then it tends to be too late, as in horror movies, but I like that this feels like a realistic take on something that is taken to a supernatural level, yes, but the town and the people feel very real. They feel very much like a small town, and they are all friends and helping each other, and the last survivors are trying to help each other to make it out of this alive. And I love to see that bond. I love to see that. Even though there has been so many deaths in this book. So in the end, we do end up on a positive note, you guys, because I think this one has been my favorite of all of the stories that I have read during this vlog. It's also a little bit unfair, I guess, because this one obviously had a lot more pages, so the author had more time to develop the characters and all of that. But apart from that, I feel like the writing style, the way that the horror was integrated, and the way that even though it was Snowman, it didn't feel silly or cringy. Like, it was really like creepy and terrifying, because when you have killer snowman, it can easily become cheese. And I think that even though there's a little bit of dark humor in the book, it still kept the horror as kind of like the main thing, and I was there for it. So I really enjoyed this one. I would definitely recommend it. I'm definitely gonna put it on my recommended Christmas reads for next year, because I think more people should get to this book. Even though this reading vlog has not been as successful as others, because there were a couple of stories that were not so much my cup of tea, especially Santa Muerte. It's just a book that I did not enjoy. Hopefully it was only a novella, so it was a short one. But I hope that you guys still enjoyed the reading vlog and hearing me talk about the books. Let me know down below if you have read any horror book that has Christmas in it, or any Christmas elements and stuff like that. I would like to know which other books are out there. If you want to support me and the channel, please do consider joining my Patreon. The link is down below. Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye guys!